Okay, so a few months ago, I was reviewing a Royce Report article, this one here, and it's from 2nd, December 2nd, 2024. This is the Rebecca Hopkins article. This first broke the Michael Brown scandal. Michael Brown faces sexual misconduct allegations, hires third party investigator. Now, he made a statement in this video. I've got a little snip of this, and I want to play it a few times and let you hear what he says for himself. And this is where I found an obvious inconsistency and obvious deception. And I'm putting it out, making this video to put that out there. So listen to this clip. I'm going to let it play through, I think, twice.
Girl, young woman.
Yeah.
Yes. And I would dispute the credibility of the two people that claim they saw Sarah sitting on my lap. I would dispute their credibility and whether their testimony withhold in court of law, to be candid. Girl, young woman. Yeah. Yes. And I would dispute the credibility of the two people that claim they saw Sarah sitting on my lap. I would dispute their credibility and whether their testimony withhold in court of law, to be candid. Yeah.
So, to be candid, he would dispute their credibility and whether or not it would hold up in a court of law. Very compelling on the surface, very compelling. But I want to jump down to about a halfway into this article. More confrontations and calls for repentance. In 2017, so the video clip there is just a couple of months ago in 2025. I think it was in May 2025. This is almost two and a half months old, maybe. Catherine Mary Alke, a former missionary, wrote to Brown to confront the lap sitting and inappropriate relationship with Aaron. Now, Aaron was her middle name. It was more of a her being able to give testimony in anonymity, but we all know that that's Sarah now, right? So Catherine Mary Alke wrote to Brown. See, this here is a hyperlink in that Royce Report article. And you can click on that hyperlink and then see the text messaging between Cat Marielke and Michael Brown. Okay, so I'm just kind of scrolling through that. Now I've got this other link I'm going to click on too because it's got a better. This is just a snippet of Cat Marielke's text message on Messenger to Michael Brown. She said, "I saw you with my own eyes. Her sitting on your lap, cuddling up to you, and being very physically intimate with you. She was at least 20 or 21 years old and not your daughter or granddaughter." Um, and Michael Brown agreed with her. Now, remember, he just said, I question the credibility of the two people who claim that they saw her sitting on my lap and whether it would hold up in a court of law. Well, here, that was Cat Marielke saying that. And here's Michael Brown's response. Again, this is just a snip of that, but the whole link is right there in the Royce Report. But what you saw was what happened. This is Michael Brown affirming in response to that text we just read. This is Michael Brown affirming what you saw was what happened, and it was in broad daylight and in public for that reason. So, of course, what he's saying is, look, it didn't happen in private. It happened in broad daylight out in front of people. It was in accountable circumstances. Nothing was going any further. So he's not even denying it with her. He's saying, yeah, you saw what happened, but here's the context. It was innocent. But yet in this mercy culture video, he's saying, well, I question their credibility. Now I'm going to play about 45 seconds, about 30 seconds past that original clip. Let me make sure my speed's right here. Played at 125.
Not young girl, young woman. Yeah. Yes. And I would dispute the credibility of the two people that claim they saw Sarah sitting on my lap. I
would dispute it. I wouldn't
dispute their credibility and whether their testimony would hold in court of law, to be candid. This picture.
It would hold in a court of law because Michael Brown himself affirmed Cat Marielke's testimony.
That's painted. I mean, people said, well, she sat, I'll read it on the internet. Yeah. She sat on your lap and you groped her and kissed her on the lips. Never happened. Absolutely, categorically not. And
I remember the testimony of Londa Parker confronting Michael Brown back in 2002 or in that time frame. It's on the Wake Up and Win podcast, and she confronted him back in the day. And he said, never happened, never happened. Same phraseology in his method and way of denying stuff. And now what he told her never happened, never happened. There's multiple witnesses and even Brown himself confessing. So when you compare Brown with Brown, he contradicts himself. He does it over and over again, and he did it here on this mercy culture video. Let me play the rest of this.
The crazy thing, and maybe we could put some of this up. And you got to realize, I've walked in the fear of the Lord. I've sought to honor God. I've spent many an hour laying on my face, weeping before Him, asking Him to make me like His Son, and to allow me to serve His people. This is the kind of
No, notice how persuasive it is. Seeing what you've seen in this video so far, it's obvious, it's proven. But see how persuasive he is. I mean, he started off with a big smile on his face. At the beginning of this clip, I started at 50, I think 54, 15 or 16, or was it 55 minutes and 15 seconds? Big smile on his face, being very persuasive. Oh, I've walked in the fear of the Lord. I've walked in the fear of the Lord. I'm going to close this video out, play this. Look at the big smile on his face. He's just confident. He's innocent. This is all integrity based, everything, right?
Young woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would dispute the credibility of the two people that claim they saw Sarah sitting on my lap. I would dispute their credibility and whether their testimony would hold in a court of law, to be candid.
I have no question about Kat Marioki's testimony holding up in a court of law. Not only do I think it's not questionable, I think it's an absolute slam dunk. It's like a Michael Jordan slam dunk contest slam dunk from back in the day. This is pretty bad. I'm making this in hopes that this breaks some of the delusion. Maybe it plays a small part in that, but people ought to realize, look, we're not getting honesty. That mercy culture video was a big narrative control machine, and that's about all that it was. Guys, we got to have repentance. We got to have restoration. That's really what we want, but there's got to be repentance first. God's mercy is available to everybody. But it's 100% conditional on repentance, and that means turning from this kind of deception that we see going on in this video right here. I'm going to stop my video right at that point. Thanks for tuning in. God bless you.